So hello everybody, Araya here. It is Thursday, so we're going to talk dragons. And wow, I'm sorry I'm a little late coming on. I expected to come on at 2 o'clock and 2:22 ended up being perfect. Go figure. So numerology, sacred geometry, dragons. Whoa, are they connected? I think so. And what's interesting is I'm coming on late because I have been out watching the sky, trying to get some photos because there's something massive happening today in the sky over Reno that I can't remember having this experience with so many air dragons before. I happened to be on a field trip with my son's school class today, and so we went, hi Suzanne, and driving back on the freeway, I just felt this tug to look out the window and up into the sky, and there's this gigantic dragon, and I already posted that picture actually. I had to post it right away. And I love that. You know, one of my pet nicknames growing up and from my bosses was Sunshine. So thank you for that. Love that. Anyway, so I had posted this picture, I saw it, and then all of a sudden I started really looking around in the sky. And I could sense and perceive there were at least 5 huge air dragons and then a whole bunch more smaller ones. And so once we got off the bus and I could drive home, I had to keep stopping and pulling over on the side of the road because I'd see another one, and he was and there's another one just up there looking at me like, haha, there I am. And I kept trying to stop and photograph him, and then there'd be a tree in the way, or I couldn't pull over where I needed to, or at that point they had said, oh, I'm going to go over here now. And so I did get several really good photos. I will post them in the comments after. But what I find really interesting as well, because we're talking about sacred geometry today, and I feel like there was a link with them coming in, because I've also never seen this phenomena in the sky here of what I would call vectoring with the clouds. Like literally, we don't have a lot of cloud sky activity here in Reno. We're high desert, we're very dry, arid. So we get storms and they come in, and you know, sometimes we have great sunsets because of that, but predominantly we have like 300 days of sunshine a year. And so usually it's blue sky as far as you can see, sort of like big sky in Montana or Wyoming, like just sky. And so with all this cloud activity going on today, there were so many, and the shapes were so distinctly dragon. And so you'll see that in some of the photos. And the one I already posted, what I love about it, hi Teresa, is you can actually see him in the photo looking to the right, and you can see the eye, and you can actually see the mouth open, fully delineated, and the teeth. I mean, that was like, whoo! And then, well, you'll see some of the photos, but this vectoring aspect, I have never really noticed clouds do this. And they're not airplane lines, because we do have an airport here, but there were no planes flying, and these lines were literally vectoring out as if they were creating matrices and or geometries. And there's one that definitely looked like the Star of David, the 6-sided pentagram, or the hexagram. It looks like the Star of David, which is very common in sacred geometry, definitely used in some of the dragon work. So there was something big happening with that, and I just felt all this energy, and so I had to go chase it. I feel like the air dragons, we look at my hair like, wow, we got air dragons. So hi Sue. So let's talk about sacred geometry and the dragons, and that great question raised today from Miss Harrington. Hello in Florida. Of course they're connected, and not that well. That's of course to me because I've been working with it so long. So what happened for me when my dragon journey started, not only did I have Metatron come in immediately, because he's you know, like one of the top archangels, sort of in charge of a lot of things. I consider the guru of like mathematics and physics. I feel like he's the sacred geometry go-to. That for me, sacred geometry was really a big part of my journey because I'm dragon, and you know, the dragons hold all the matrices in place in the universe. So with the crystalline grids, with the matrices of the universe, all of that is about geometry and mathematics. And so right there is their connection, but they're also very connected to Metatron. I feel like he's almost like the overseer of their involvement in Earth. And with them being the ones coming in and really holding things in place for this to come into being as Mother, Father, God created it through all of these channels. Once I started working with him, my mind, my dream state, my meditations, all these images of geometries that I didn't know, couldn't understand, started happening. And so I would try and get up and draw them, and then I would just be like, well, what do I do with that? And I apologize, my phone's going on low battery, so hopefully we'll get through this. So what do I do with these drawings? What do I do with these geometries? And I know that there's a lot of you out there who are just popping into your dragon journey. Things are just waking up, and you're starting to have these visions and dreams, especially in the middle of the night, where you wake up and you feel like there's this mathematical puzzle going on in your head of lines and vectors, and like, what is it? And sometimes you can draw it and sometimes you can't, or you get close to it. And just know that that's totally normal. It's part of it, and the link will make itself clear as the rest of the pieces of the puzzle come in. So just keep trusting it. And you know, sometimes it's that you're getting a piece for someone else, and I have had people sending me geometric pieces that they're coming through and they're going, what do I do with this? And they're making sense for things that I'm doing, and then I can in turn help them make sense of that. But I encourage you to just journal, just keep drawing them, because you're going to start seeing the correlations. And yeah, Teresa, it's very common. In fact, I would bet if we posted that question out there in the group, how many other people are seeing sacred geometries in their dream state or their meditations, you're going to see a lot of comments. I know at least 5 people off the top of my head, and myself included. I've had a lot coming in, especially before, as the Dragonheart program was being created. That specific geometry that is the Dragonheart symbol was very clear. There was one that came in before that was sort of an initiatory symbol, and then that one clarified, and you know, the whole story of that when I was down in Sedona coming through was very crystal clear. But yeah, so keep journaling it and just keep opening and asking your guides, okay, show me how I can use this, show me what it's for. Because when we do work with the dragons, it would make sense, them being connected, them being the holders of the geometries and the matrices of the things that are not physical, making the physical possible, right? And with the connection of Metatron, and so all of it tied together. But as these pieces come together and you keep moving forward on your journey and they unfold, then we get taken into really deep understanding. And that's where I'm moving with the Dragonhearts right now. We are starting a foundational process, and actually, as we go, unbeknownst to them, well, I let them in on this little secret, but we looked at a geometry in the very first week, and now we're actually building the foundations of it energetically without even looking at the geometries. And when we get to the end of this foundation plate, I will be able to go back and show them the geometry again and show them how it got constructed through the work we were doing. And so that kind of work becomes very powerful when you get to that level of being able to not only use it but understand it and see it in action in opening doorways or helping move energies through. Quite often in my work with the dragons with clients, Metatron has been present in the healing and showed me specific geometries that he puts in place around either both of us, client and healer, or just around the client, and then shows me which way to spin it. You know, sometimes they're double-sided Merkaba with the 4-sided pyramids. Sometimes they're hexagons, sometimes they're octagons, sometimes they're dodecahedrons. There's a gamut, and there's a use for all of them and specific situations. And so when that's going on, I just sort of keep journaling of which ones are used where and how to use them, because he's showing me that each time there's a client that's ready for it. So that's where, you know, the dragons are present as their dragon guides, or they're a dragon themselves. Metatron comes in because he's part of this connection, and then I get to see and understand the work with the geometries. So it was a fabulous question, and I'm so grateful for it. If you have any other aspects here as I'm talking that you want clarified, feel free to make a comment or put comments in if you're watching the replay, because I know there's going to be a lot of replay watches. So I would love to, and I love that you guys are posting comments in the group, because these kind of lives make it really exciting to have a broader expansion rather than a 2 or 3 line written comment back that maybe you don't get the full picture or the full feeling from. And so these kind of lives really inspire me, because I know they're not only triggering other people that will probably more likely see the live than necessarily comment, but it's also giving this expanded explanation of it and the energy behind it. And I know there's a lot of energy behind it today. I can feel it coming through. I know I'm in my dragon self right now. You guys can probably see it in my eyes. But with this activity in the sky today, there's definitely, what I feel is happening, I almost feel like there's a transmission or something happening through to those who are watching today, just receiving this. So even if you haven't been seeing geometries yet, don't be surprised if you don't start having something like that come in your dream state after watching this. I just feel like there was a gift from the air dragons that they were trying to really come in and go, because the sky is almost clear now, which is very interesting. So I just feel like there was something that they were trying to imbue energetically in me to pass through to you through this medium. And there she is. Hi, Bridget. Yes. You are welcome. Thank you for the question. And I think you're going to enjoy the full replay. So that said, you know, I talked about the Dragon Hearts in here. The doors close next Tuesday, May 1st, as far as having applications and having interviewed and showing your true interest. And I know there's some of you out there that have requested applications but maybe haven't jumped on filling them in. I do have some more spots that have filled, and I've talked to a lot of people and have some people lined up for next year's program, which is really exciting. But yeah, this is your last chance, and if you are really feeling it, especially after talking about geometry, please get a hold of me, because even if the doors close May 1st, if I know you're in and you're committed and we have a phone call set up, we'll get you in the program. It is definitely powerful. The other piece I want to make sure you know about is the book club, because we have the next round of book club starting May 10th, 2 weeks from today. It's going to be 11:30 to 1:30 for 6 weeks in a row. That's my time zone, in same time as Los Angeles here in Reno. We're Pacific Standard, and we've got some registrants already for that. There's only 10 spaces, so don't dawdle if you want your space. And you just need to either look up the post or the event that I've posted several times, or message me and I'll get the registration information to you. But that ended up being not really just a book club. It was so much more than a book club, because we were doing really profound metaphysical discussions and meditations each week, which were amazing. I have a Master Crystal Metatron Cube when I work with the angels. Could this be used when I work with, I'm guessing it says the dragons? Absolutely, yes. The Master Crystal Metatron Cube, yes, use it with your dragons, and you'll start to understand why. Especially when you're working with the angels, if you haven't, Sue, yet called Metatron in directly, invite him in as part of that. It's a Crystal Metatron Cube, so I'd assume you might have been calling him in, but if you haven't, definitely do that each time. So if there's any questions about the book club or dragon readings or one-on-one sessions, I don't have a lot of room in my schedule because of the 2 programs for one-on-ones at the moment, outside of those that are in the programs. But as spaces pop up, as I know that people are wanting them, I will contact you and fill them in, because the dragons want me to work, and that's what I'm here to do, to serve you. So I hope you have a fabulous weekend. I've really enjoyed connecting with you today, and I hope this served a purpose or helped you understand that connection. And I look forward to next week with you guys. So have a fabulous weekend. We'll see you next time. Bye.